This week we have our final installments of Tezzz Talks, Mighty Morphin Madness, and Animate. Plus we test some of our crew members' knowledge on film characters. Nerd Central starts right now. Hello and welcome to episode 10 of Nerd Central. This is our final week of regular programming, with next week being a very special final show of the semester. Stay tuned for the end of the show for that. I am your host, Andy Johnson, and we're going to start the show off with another installment of Animate, where we talk about all things animated.
Hi, I'm Eli, and welcome to Animate. This week, we are taking probably one of the biggest disappointments in American animation and deciding whether or not it should have become a live-action film. This week, I have Molly with me, and we are going to be tearing apart M. Night Shyamalan's film, The Last Airbender.
And it sucked.
I completely agree with you. Now let's discuss why.
First off, throughout the movie, like, you'll see all the airbenders and they're like, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. But, like, just the way they bend, it doesn't make any sense. So they had, like, 6 earthbenders try and move a rock. That's not how this works, guys. You need one bender to move a rock.
One thing I wanted to really discuss is the naming choices. The naming choices. Shyamalan, yeah, don't even get me started on that. Shyamalan even said in interviews and press releases that he and his daughter were avid fans of the show and he wanted to get immersed into it. But the main character's name is said wrong. Same with Iro.
Yep.
And he's planning on doing it again with the next movie. It already came out that he wanted to name Toph Tooth, which he cannot do. Toph is my favorite character ever. He cannot do that.
Why would he do that? Is he just kind of like, screw the Avatar fan, I'm gonna do things how I want to?
Basically, he literally believes that, well, I've looked at the languages attached to them and this is how it's supposed to be pronounced. I'm like, okay, but when you're modeling a movie after a show, you need to use the pronunciations that the show used. That's the only way it would really make sense. By the way, let's use probably the worst green screen effects I've ever seen in my entire life.
And I looked it up. He had like quite a few million for that movie.
Even then, let's bring back that this is happening, well after James Cameron's Avatar came out. The CGI in it
was beautiful.
Was amazing. And if we could do that when we were messing around with that Avatar, why in the world did we go backwards for something that could have been revolutionary to this kind of field?
Especially because so many kids grew up with Avatar, they wanted to see it become a movie, and it took away everybody's expectations.
And you know what the worst part is with this movie? It's not the green screen effects, which were made by teenagers in high school. It's not the CGI effects that went back 20 years prior to what we were actually capable of doing at the time. It's not the emotionless characters. It's not, how they don't match who they are in the series. It's the fact that the firebenders literally cannot create their own fire.
Like, they pulled from a pit, and that's how they created their fire. They were bending, because the fire was in this pit, and they were bending from there. It's like, firebenders are supposed to make their own fire,
And what makes me so angry about it is the fact that Shyamalan literally came out in, conferences and interviews and said he took that away from the firebenders because he wanted people more evenly matched. And I'm like, that's not how it happens. That's exactly how the firebenders had enough power to overtake nations. To overtake the earthbenders with earth all around them. To overtake waterbenders with water practically everywhere. And airbenders, good lord, that's everywhere. But firebenders had to be able to create fire within themselves because there's not fire everywhere.
Right.
In your opinion. should it have become a live-action film?
No. It should have stayed an American anime because it just went so downhill from the movie, and with Shyamalan wanting to do a second one, I don't know how he'll be able to revive himself from the previous movie.
I will actually slightly disagree with you there.
Really?
I will, because as much as I rag on the movie, as much as I hate the live-action film that Shyamalan produced, the live-action film was not the problem. The problem was
Everything.
everything else. How it was made, the actual product was the problem. It wasn't the idea. That's all we have for you this week. I want to thank Molly for being on the show.
Thank you. Got a little heated, but I'm glad we got this off of our chests.
And we'll see you next week on Nerd Central.
Thanks, Eli. The Last Airbender honestly shouldn't have been made at all. I only got through about the first 15 minutes and asked, what was that? A teaser trailer dropped for our viewing pleasure. The untitled Deadpool sequel released its first footage from the film, and some of it is not safe for work or for TV. Not much is known about the film other than most of the original's cast is returning, and Zazie Beetz and Josh Brolin being cast as Domino and Cable respectively. The film is scheduled for release on June 1st, 2018. Deadpool's marketing has been at it again. It continues to impress, and did you notice the little hand at the end of the teaser? I bet you didn't. Now we're going to take it to Haley Southard for her review of Liberty's Kids.
Hi, this is Haley Southard from Nerd Central, and today I will be talking about Liberty's Kids. Main characters include James, a patriot who acts before he thinks, while observing American heroes. Sarah, an English girl who's in search for her father, and Henri, a French orphan who's always craving food. The show focuses on James and Henri, who are hired by Benjamin Franklin to write for the newspaper the Pennsylvania Gazette, assisted by Moses, a free African American. Along with Sarah, James and Henri tour the American colonies during some of the most important events of American history, all while documenting the passion and losses contributed to freedom. Along the way, the children encounter some of America's most important founding fathers and leaders, such as George Washington and many others.
We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, to establish justice, promote the general welfare, and to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
What I like about this show is that there's excitement and adventure. It's a way for people to easily understand American history. It shows our history from a different point of view, and it teaches people some important life lessons. The topics discussed in this series are also important for people to remember and keep in mind because it reminds us of our history and how we got to where we are today. I only wish that the show could have lasted longer than a year. But don't trust my opinion. Watch it and decide for yourself. That's all from me. Again, this is Haley Southard from Nerd Central. Stay nerdy.
Thanks, Haley. I have never seen nor heard of this show, but it seems like a Magic School Bus-like show. We're going to take a short break, but first here is another installment of Mighty Morphin Madness.
Welcome to another episode of Mighty Morphin Madness with me, your host, Zach Brown, where we get to talk about everybody's favorite teenagers with attitude, the Power Rangers.
What do we do?
Teleport to us 5 overbearing and over-emotional humans.
No, not that, not teenagers.
That's correct, Alpha.
I was afraid of that.
This week, I got to talk about another favorite Power Ranger series of mine, and that is Power Rangers Turbo. Power Rangers Turbo debuted on March 28th, 1997, with Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, the second feature film of the Power Rangers franchise. In the movie, we see a new villain, the evil queen of space pirates, Divatox, trying to revive an evil demon to try to take over the world. Zordon gives the Zeo Rangers new turbo powers to help defeat evil. The then Blue Ranger Rocky gets injured during karate practice and is replaced by a young kid named Justin, making him the first kid to become a Power Ranger.
Mountain Blaster Turbo Power!
This season was the first also to have a transfer of the Power Ranger powers to 4 new teenagers mid-season. The Red Ranger Tommy giving his powers to TJ, Adam the Green Ranger giving the powers to Carlos, Tanya the Yellow Ranger giving the powers to Ashley, and finally Catherine the Pink Ranger giving the powers to Cassie. The 4 new Rangers and the Blue Ranger Justin continue to fight Divatox until Zordon is kidnapped and their powers get destroyed at the beginning episodes of Power Rangers in Space, which I talked about in a past episode.
Bye-bye, Ranger.
This season was also the first to have a new mentor. Zordon and Alpha 5 leave for their home planet of Eltar to be back with their family. Zordon recruits his long-term friend, Demetria, and Alpha 6, the next generation of robots, to guide the Rangers. Alpha 6 at first was voiced to be a hip robot with even weirder catchphrases, but with a negative response from fans, they started to ease back on the weirdness, which I was glad.
Yo, what you talking about alone? What am I, invisible?
Overall, the series was a fun watch, with some good elements that continued into the other series. The addition of new teenagers getting the powers mid-season was also a fun and interesting twist no other season has replicated. For Mighty Morphin Madness, this has been Zach Brown. Stay tuned for more Nerd Central after the break.
Welcome back to Nerd Central, and you just watched another installment of Mighty Morphin Madness. We're going to take it to Tyler Bruff's review of the 100.
What's up, guys? It's Tyler here again, and this week on Nerd Central, I will be taking a look at the series The 100, so let's get started.
It's been 97 years since a nuclear apocalypse killed everyone on Earth, leaving the planet simmering in radiation. Fortunately, there were survivors. 12 nations had operational space stations at the time of the bombs. There is now only the Ark, one station forged from the many.
The 100 is an American post-apocalyptic science fiction drama television series that premiered on March 19, 2014, and as you heard is set 97 years after a devastating nuclear apocalypse wiped out almost all life on Earth. Over 2,400 survivors live on the space station, but the Ark's life support systems are found to be failing, so 100 juvenile prisoners are sent to the surface in a last attempt to determine whether Earth is habitable or not. They find out that Earth is in fact habitable, but also discover they're not alone, as not all humanity was destroyed and some survived the apocalypse. The groups on the ground are threatened by the arrival of the 100 and try to kill them. Among these people are the Grounders, who live in clans locked in a power struggle, the Reapers, another group of Grounders who have become cannibals, and Mountain Men, who live in Mount Weather and locked themselves in a bunker within the mountain before the apocalypse occurred. The series focuses on the group of 100 on the ground and their struggles of surviving and forming a society. The characters form relationships that are key to survival and slowly start to realize that they all need to work together and not argue about leadership in order to survive. I really enjoyed the series, and I've seen all 3 seasons that are out right now. I like how intense the series is throughout its entirety, and with the constant action, the series is hard to walk away from. I found myself binge watching most of the seasons. It seemed like every time the group would get out of trouble, there would be another obstacle ready for the group to get past. Another thing I enjoyed about the show is that they weren't afraid to kill off characters, even some of the main ones. I give the series a solid 8 out of 10 and highly recommend you go check it out to see how the 100 try to survive and create a society from scratch. Thanks for tuning in this week. This has been Tyler with Nerd Central. Now back to you, Andy.
Thanks, Tyler. I have never seen the 100, but there seems to be a big enough following that it lasted this long. Warner Brothers has released the first look at Fantastic Beasts 2. Fantastic Beasts' official Twitter page released a short video showing the cast of the film and the title of the film, Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. The previous film debuted in November of 2016 and is set in New York City in the 1920s. The sequel continues the story of Newt Scamander as Albus Dumbledore tasks him to capture Grindelwald. Shooting started back in July of this year and is scheduled for release November 16th, 2018. I am a huge fan of the Wizarding World universe, and having Jude Law play a younger Dumbledore just adds to the list of British actors in Harry Potter. Now we're going to take it to another installment of Tezzz Talks, where Tezzz talks about something in movies, TV, or comic books. What do you have for us this week, Tezzz?
And this is Tezzz Talks on Nerd Central.
Well, hello. Welcome to another edition of Tezzz Talks on Nerd Central. And today, I'll be talking about the Lego Batman movie. Now, this movie, it ties into the Dick Grayson storyline. Now, this Batman, he's having trouble asking for help, although he feels all alone since the death of his family. He is very egotistical, and this leads to one of his greatest mistakes. Now, this Batman, he also wants to be a part of a family and feel a sense of belonging, but he allows his ego to get in his way every time. But in the end, this is all resolved and corrected when he allows outsiders in his life. The one good thing that I enjoy about this movie is that it displays the vast variety of villains and the enemies of Batman.
Including the Riddler, Scarecrow, Pizza Delivery, Bane, hello, Two-Face. We need that door open, baby. Catwoman.
Meow meow, you're in. Meow meow.
Penguin, Crazy Quilt, Eraser, Polka Dot Man, Mime, Tarantula, King Tut, Orca, Killer Moth, Orange Harriet, Zodiac Master, Gentleman Ghost, Clock King, Calendar Man, Kite Man, Cat Man, Zebra Man, and the Condiment King.
Okay, are you making some of those up?
Nope, they're all real. Probably worth the Google.
This Lego animation movies are good to keep your siblings engaged or if you're babysitting. But being an older person, I did not find it to be as engaging. So I would not recommend this movie for someone my age or older. And I would have to give it a very flat rating of 2 out of 5. Now, it's not a bad movie, but it's not a movie for my peers or the older demographic. This movie is targeted towards a younger audience. So, with that being said, I would like to conclude this episode of Tezzz Talks, and I will catch you another time.
Thanks, Tezzz. I really liked Lego Batman and all the references to Batman's past, but I can see what you mean by it being more of a kids movie. That's going to do it for this week's Nerd Central. Nerd Showdown is next. You can watch Nerd Central, Nerd Showdown, and all of our other amazing shows on the KNWT YouTube page. And follow Nerd Central on Twitter at nerd_central_TV and KNWT on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Stay tuned for Nerd Showdown.
Hello and welcome to Nerd Showdown. We are doing something a little special this week. Our competitors will be testing their knowledge of characters in movies and TV. I am your host, Eli Stanley, and with me I have Molly Gardner and co-producer Bradley Justice. The rules are simple. There is a time clock in the middle of the table. The competitors will buzz in and be given 15 seconds to identify the character. If they get it incorrect, the other competitor will have a chance to answer. The contest is set up into 7 categories, ranging from comic books to the Wizarding World and a little dabble in TV. Now that that's out of our way, let's show down. Competitors, your first topic is... Molly, are you ready? You bet. Bradley, are you ready?
Yeah, I'll wing it. I got this.
Here's your first character.
Okay. Doomsday. Any idea who that is?
Superman. Is that me?
The clock just stopped.
I think we broke it. Is it mine?
Yes, you.
Batman. Hey.
Wonder Woman from Justice League Dark 2. I forget. Oh, it's me. Green Lantern, John Stewart. My man. It's my man. Besides the clock being messed up and going reverse, that is a Brainiac from Injustice 2.
Competitors, your next topic is
Animated. I got this.
This.
Bruce.
That was clearly.
Was that me?
Yeah, that was clearly.
Joy. I actually don't know her name.
Well, your clock's going down, so that's good.
I don't know her name. It's like Rabbit something. What's her name, Bradley?
I have no idea. It's Julie Hobbs, I think.
Oh, that's right.
Is that right?
Yep, it's Julie Hobbs.
Yes! It's clearly you, because I didn't hit it.
Simba.
That's Skipper.
Smile and wave, boys. Just smile and wave. Oh, you know this one?
I do.
What is it?
It's Toothless. Do you know this one? Did you know this
I
one?
knew the one from How to Train Your Dragon.
the next category is
other.
Very descriptive.
Yeah.
I like that picture.
Oh! I don't know his name.
I know.
Oh. That was soft.
Caesar.
Oh, yeah. There's a glare on the TV. I don't know what that is.
That's John Wick.
Oh.
What's going on?
Katniss Everdeen. Hey.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, Leonardo, my boy. It's Optimus Prime.
Oh.
The next topic is
Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Iron Man. Oh. I'm not seeing the news. Ryan Reynolds loving.
I know part of it. It's like Megasonic Teenage Warhead.
Teenage Warhead.
I was trying to say War Hero and I knew that wasn't right.
Peter Quill. Splash Star-Lord.
Oh.
Thanos.
Yep.
The next category is
TV. With the Iron Throne. Barney Stinson.
That is Captain Cold or Leonard Snart.
We are on to the final topic. Can you show us what it is, please?
Star Wars! Yes! It's Ahsoka. It's Darth Maul.
Darth Vader. I have no idea. Is that Rey?
That is Ben Solo / Kylo Ren.
Oh, I was in the right movie though. It's not Han Solo, but I'm just gonna say Han Solo.
That is Luke Skywalker.
That's Rey.
And now for an update. My secretary has the scores. Secretary? Thank you, Secretary. And now I shall proclaim the winner. May I have a drum roll, please? Thank you. The winner of this showdown is Bradley Justice. I'm
out of here.
Oh, you want to go? We can go later in the parking lot. Let's go fight. Let's fight later. I will meet you right there.
Yeah. Well,
later
looks like
after
a fight
this.
is broken out in the studio. Thank you for watching Nerd Showdown. Northwest Sessions is up next. Thank you for watching.